Imagine for a moment that your life just started to, well, effortlessly click into place. Like an invisible hand was guiding things, making sure you got the best outcomes, just because you were, enjoying the ride.
It sounds kind of magical, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But that's pretty much the core idea behind this source we looked at, a transmission called the formula. It really does propose this sort of automatically organizing life.
Okay, right. So let's unpack that. We're diving into a transcript from a YouTube video, seems like a channeled entity clarifying this formula.
And it breaks down into three main parts, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Acting on your passion, doing your best, and then this big one, zero insistence on the outcome.
Exactly. And the crucial thing here for you listening is how this potentially helps you understand how to make decisions, maybe interpret those gut feelings, excitement,
Yeah.
and navigate what feel like obstacles.
It's framed as a practical guide, not just, high-level philosophy. It's about aligning with the natural flow.
Right. And we know you're busy, you want the insights without wading through hours of material. So that's what we're doing here, pulling out the key stuff from this source.
And it's fascinating how these three kind of simple-sounding ideas weave together into something quite powerful.
Okay, let's jump into part one then. Acting on your highest passion or excitement. Now, when they say excitement, it's not just about, like, bungee jumping, is it?
No, not at all. Think broader. The source clarifies it includes passion, creativity, love, joy, essentially any feeling that lifts you up, that resonates.
So it's like your body translating a signal from your higher self or something.
That's exactly how it's put. Your body's translation of communication from your higher mind, it's your internal compass pointing towards alignment.
Okay, got it. So how do you use this compass day to day? What's the practical application?
It's actually quite simple in theory. In any given moment, with any choice you have, you just ask yourself, which option feels even slightly more exciting or interesting or just lighter?
Even just a tiny bit more.
Yeah, that little spark, that little preference,
Hmm.
that's the signal. It could be about what chore to do next or what music to put on or a bigger life decision. Find the spark.
And the really interesting bit, this feeling, this excitement, it's not just random emotion. It's presented as like actual communication.
Precisely. Acting on that excitement is like picking up the phone when your higher guidance is calling. It's acknowledging and responding to that signal, tuning in.
And there's a mechanism behind it. It's not just about feeling good in the moment.
Right. The source stresses that excitement itself has an organizing principle built into it. We often call it synchronicity.
Ah, okay. So things just start lining up.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
When you consistently follow that thread of excitement, you naturally attract the right people, the right information, the right opportunities, exactly when you need them. It's like stepping into a current.
So life starts to feel less like pushing a boulder uphill.
Exactly. More effortless, more joyful, creative, loving, all those things. And importantly, it increases your self-awareness. You understand yourself better through the process. It's that feeling of flow.
Okay, I think we can all get behind that. So, part two of the formula. To the best of your ability. This sounds obvious, but I get the feeling there's a nuance here.
There definitely is. It's not just about, can I physically lift this right now? It's about the path of your energy.
Meaning, if I feel excited about something, but say I physically can't do it right now, does that mean stop?
Not necessarily. Those physical limitations or maybe lack of resources right now, they aren't always roadblocks. They can be feedback, signposts,
Signpost pointing where?
towards a different route maybe. The path of least resistance that still honors the excitement. The source uses an analogy like sometimes a winding path is actually faster if it's the true path for you, the one that flows, even if it looks longer on a map.
Okay, that makes sense. Don't just bang your head against the wall. Find the easier way that still feels exciting.
Exactly. Pushing isn't always the answer. But then there's another layer to best of your ability. Societal stuff. Laws, ethics.
Ah, right. How does that fit in? You can't just ignore laws because you feel excited to, like, break them.
Well, according to this perspective, no. The idea is that by participating in a society, you've kind of implicitly agreed to its basic rules, even if you disagree with some of them.
So what do you do if a law genuinely feels like it's blocking your excitement or feels unjust?
The suggestion is to work within the system to change it. Outright violating agreements is seen as, well, maybe a lack of creativity in finding a better way, a way that respects the collective agreement while still pursuing your path.
Okay. And they gave an example, didn't they? Comparing copyright to something like slavery laws.
Yes, and that distinction is important. Copyright is presented as a kind of societal agreement, maybe imperfect, but designed around sharing and creation. Violating it might mean you haven't found a truly creative ethical workaround yet. Something like slavery laws, though, that's fundamentally violating rights, it's based on harm. So it's about discerning the nature of the rule.
That's a really crucial distinction. Okay, let's get to part 3. This feels like the big hurdle for a lot of us, with absolutely zero insistence or assumption as to the outcome.
Oh yeah, this is where our planning minds can get really tangled up. We'd love to picture exactly how things should go.
But the transmission warns against that. Why? Isn't having a clear goal good?
It can be, but the potential trap is rigidity. By insisting your excitement must manifest in one very specific way, the exact job, the precise amount of money, the relationship looking, just so you might actually be blocking something better.
Better how?
Your higher mind, your intuition, might have a much grander, more aligned possibility in mind, something your conscious brain hasn't even conceived of yet. Clinging too tightly to your little picture can prevent the bigger one from emerging.
So you hold the feeling, the excitement, but let go of the exact details of how it looks.
Exactly. Drop the picture, keep the vibration, is the phrase used. Trust that the feeling is the destination, and allow the universe, or your higher self, to handle the logistics and the form it takes. Which might surprise you in a good way.
Okay, that requires a serious amount of trust, doesn't it?
It absolutely does, and sometimes, the source points out, the excitement is just to get you moving, to get you into a certain state of being. The initial thing you were excited about might not even happen, but the action itself was necessary for your growth.
So the journey, the act of following the excitement, is the point sometimes.
It can be. And related to this is abundance. If you insist that support must come as, say, money, you might miss the fact that the universe is providing support through connections or ideas or timely help from a friend. Stay open to all forms of abundance.
Don't define abundance too narrowly. Okay. Now, tying this all together, the transmission mentions a kit of excitement that comes with applying this formula. What's in the kit?
Think of it as the operating system that runs when you follow the formula. First, as we said, is that organizing principle synchronicity. Your excitement leads you.
Right, putting you on the path of least resistance.
Exactly. A smoother, more efficient path. Minimizing struggle.
What else is in there?
Connection. The idea that all your genuine excitements are linked vibrationally. Following one can unlock others, even seemingly unrelated ones. And, crucially, support. The kit ensures you have what you need when you need it, resources, energy, ideas, abundance in the right form.
So you're always supported, even if it's not obvious how initially.
That's the promise. And maybe the most powerful tool on the kit is the reflective mirror.
Reflective mirror. What's that?
As you follow your excitement, anything within you, subconscious beliefs, fears that isn't aligned with that excitement, gets brought to the surface. It gets reflected back to you through your experiences.
Ooh, so your limiting beliefs become visible.
Yes, but not to punish you. It's so you can see them, recognize they're just beliefs, maybe old programming, and consciously choose to let them go because they don't serve your excitement.
Ah, I see. So it's a self-clearing mechanism.
Precisely. It allows you to release what's holding you back, which then lets you access even more excitement. It's an upward spiral. And the source emphasizes this kit is complete, everything needed, perfect timing, perfect placement, guiding you to know yourself.
Quite a package. Okay, near the end of the source material, there was a Q&A section. Lots of really specific, interesting questions came up that I think you listening might connect with. Let's touch on a few. Someone asked, where is my home? The answer involved other star systems.
Right, Sirius, Orion, Pleiades. The key takeaway wasn't about literally packing your bags for another galaxy. It was about understanding these as energetic connections.
Energetic connections. How so?
Think of them as sources of information, themes, or blueprints relevant to your current life's purpose. You might resonate with Arcturian energy for remembering your bigger self, or Pleiadian energy for emotional understanding. It's about bringing those principles down to earth.
So it's less about where you came from physically and more about what energies you're working with now.
Exactly. The core message was, you're always home. It's about embodying those energies right here, right now, grounding them.
Okay. Another person saw falling lights after meditation. What was that about?
That was explained pretty directly as a shift in their vibration. As you raise your frequency, your perception can expand. You start being able to perceive energies or phenomena that are always there, but usually outside our normal sensory range, like tuning a radio to a news station.
Makes sense. Then there was the idea about relationships, that we create our own version of everyone we meet.
Yeah, this is a big one. You're essentially interacting with your perception of a person. filtered through your own beliefs, expectations, and unresolved stuff. That's why two people can have totally different experiences of the same person. You're creating them in your reality for your learning.
Wow. Okay. Hybridization also came up. Always a hot topic.
It is. The source acknowledged a sort of general hybridization in humanity, but also specific lineages. But the main point, again, was practicality. How does knowing or exploring this feel? Does it generate excitement? If yes, follow that thread. Don't get lost in the details of origin stories just for the sake of it. Use it for your present growth.
Right. Focus on the now application. What about permission slips? That sounds useful.
Super useful concept. A permission slip is anything, a tool, like crystals or Reiki, a technique, a belief, even a person that helps you give yourself permission to be more of who you are or do something you thought you couldn't.
So, like, Reiki works because you believe it allows you to channel energy, and that belief is the permission slip.
Exactly. The tool facilitates your own innate ability by helping you bypass a limiting belief you held about accessing that ability.
Got it. Dreams. They weren't just random brain noise in this view.
No, they were seen as processing daily life, yes, but also potential glimpses into preferred futures, like energetic blueprints you might be drawn towards.
Yeah.
And karma was reframed away from punishment towards just simple balance and learning.
And beauty, not just skin deep.
True beauty was defined as alignment with your true self, that radiant authenticity. And the feeling of I can't have it all was flagged as a core limiting belief to examine.
How about finding your life's theme?
It comes out in the wash, basically. Follow your excitement and the challenges that arise while you're doing that. Those often point directly to your core themes for growth and learning in this life.
Okay. Someone saw a ship. That got an interesting explanation.
Again, tied to vibrational shifts. Seeing things outside the usual consensus reality. It was linked to recognizing your own nature as light, and specifically mentioned Arcturian energy sometimes facilitates remembering your larger, multidimensional self.
Even Las Vegas got a mention. And wisdom teeth.
Haha, yeah. Vegas was described as this focal point for randomness, a sort of mirror reflecting your own core state back at you intensely. Wisdom teeth got a metaphorical nod, related to wisdom, obviously, but also maybe not biting off more than you can chew, taking on too much at once.
Communication with the oversoul or higher self.
Constant, often subtle. Following excitement turns up the volume, makes you a better receiver in those dark nights of the soul. Reframed as powerful moments for clarifying what you truly prefer, forging strength through contrast.
Okay, what about things like creating an energy room or financial support?
If you feel excitement about creating something like a multisensory energy room, that excitement is a sign you're ready, that it's aligned. For financial support, the key was reframing abundance beyond just cash. Follow the passion, and the ability to do what needs doing will be provided in whatever form is necessary. It might be money, it might be resources, it might be help. Trust the synchronicity.
Past lives.
Viewed as simultaneous, you're accessing themes relevant now. If exploring a past life feels exciting, do it. It's about bringing relevant wisdom into the present.
Contact crystals, reincarnation.
The hexagonal crystal structure mentioned was linked to hybrid races and shared evolution. Reincarnation explained more as simultaneous existences viewed through a linear lens, rather than a simple one after the other chain. Modern understanding of consciousness.
Triangular UFOs, kinship with channeled entities.
The timing for the triangle's agenda was linked to the open contact window. Feeling kinship with an entity like the one channeling. That's resonance with a frequency, acting as another permission slip for your own self-discovery, often tied to hybrid reality connections.
Frequency devices, singing bowl noises.
Using a frequency device makes you a consciousness bridge, facilitating the permission slip. Strange noises from a singing bowl, an opportunity to match a higher spiritual frequency being offered.
All-seeing eye, earth-born preparers indigos.
The I's original meaning. Universal knowledge, empowerment, though acknowledging its dualistic use now. Indigos and similar concepts related to sensitizing humanity to new hybrid frequencies.
Recognizing future connections, sharing oversouls.
Future connections often feel like imagination follow the formula. Sharing an oversoul isn't quite the model. It's more about vibrational compatibility, meaning you're in a shared version of reality, but higher minds can differ.
Tangible spiritual feelings as a child, connecting with non-humans in meditation.
Those early feelings change as you integrate more info, connecting with other beings in meditation, validated as real potential contact and assistance.
Waxing crescent moon gateway, sharing reincarnations.
Specific guidance was given about the moon phase for unexpected communication. sharing lives with soul families. Again, it's all simultaneous. You choose connections based on current relevance.
Jealousy of other versions, not completing life path.
Jealousy can happen, yes. Not completing a path. You can always shift back towards alignment. Deviation isn't permanent failure.
Life review, splitting realities.
Life review is almost automatic learning. Parallel reality splitting. Yes, those not vibrationally aligned eventually fade from perception.
Choosing next incarnation, nature of existence.
Each personality chooses from its perspective. Existence, constant expansion of a never-changing underlying structure.
Clearer, higher self-communication formula.
Passion raises vibration, makes you a better receiver. Simple as that.
9/11 for spacecraft. Earth is dark.
Hey, basically shit happens, even with advanced tech. Earth being dark. A choice for experiencing contrast, a catalyst for growth.
Doing more with less, the now moment.
The formula allows life to work automatically. Complexity can hinder it. The now isn't just a belief, it's described as the actual structure of existence, a law.
Ascended masters transcending belief, first non-hybrid contact.
They know thyself, which is beyond belief. Jesus' joy cited as an example. First non-hybrid contact. Peased, but no specifics given.
Yael is first hybrid contact. 11/11, dinosaurs.
Yael confirmed his first hybrid contact. 1111 is a permission slip. Dinosaurs coexisting. Yes, with other beings, not modern humans necessarily, plus parallel realities and birds being dinosaurs.
Year adding to 9, Nazca lines, truck driving.
No more detail on the 9 cycle. Nazca lines, purpose unclear, focus points. Truck driving, an example of practicing choosing excitement within any situation.
Epsilon epiphany eclipse, Bell Rock distance.
AI is involved in stabilization via the moon.
Yeah.
Bell rock distance stability indicates the new vibrational direction is holding.
Menopause, seeing a hybrid child blip out.
Menopause metaphorically, like Earth's core bringing things to the surface, new land, blip out. A stage of contact, checking human recognition.
Harvest density shift, Austin, Golden City.
Harvest linked to Shekinah experience and the potential collective shift with the equinox cycle. No comment on specific prophecies like Austin, as future isn't fixed.
Balancing masculine, feminine, sexual orientation across lives. Long-term excitement waning.
Balancing energies happens over many simultaneous lives, maybe 300 years average now versus 1,000 before, due to faster shifts. Conscious creation activates genetic markers for balance, crucial to discern excitement versus anxiety. If long-term excitement, like having a child, wanes and feels stuck, re-examine the original definitions and intentions behind that excitement.
Wow, okay. That is a lot taken from one source. But it really does all seem to spiral back to that core formula, doesn't it?
It really does, that 3-part process. Act on your highest excitement, to the best of your ability right now, with absolutely zero insistence on the outcome.
And it's so clearly a personal path. How you apply this, how it unfolds for you is going to be unique.
Absolutely. It's about your own discovery. What resonates, what feels true in your own experience as you experiment with it.
So if this deep dive has sparked something for you, definitely consider checking out the original source material or just exploring these ideas further in your own way.
And maybe here's something to chew on. Connecting back to a later point in the transmission, it mentions this idea of an inner prompting, a click, 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 almost like a reminder in every moment to look deeper. And ask, what's the underlying mechanism here? What's really going on beneath the surface of this experience? So the question for you is, how could you start listening for that click, click, click in your own daily life? What new layers might that reveal?
Definitely some fascinating food for thought there. Well, thank you for exploring all this with us today.
Always a pleasure.
Until our next deep dive.